Hi everyone, welcome to Own Your Story. Today I have Caroline with me. Caroline is a yoga instructor and founder of Zimba Yoga, and we met 3 years back in 2015 in Kota Kinabalu during a backpacking trip. I haven't spoken to Caroline for 3 years until today, and I'm super excited to dive into Caroline's story after the last time we met. So Caroline, let's start with the point when we met in Kota Kinabalu in 2015. I know that you are on a 10 months traveling and teaching yoga as well in Philippines. So what brought you onto this journey?
Basically, I didn't travel. I hadn't traveled for a good maybe 17, 18 years by that time point. I just never left England. And so I felt like I needed to just have a complete change of scene, a change of environment. And so I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was working at that time point as a medical secretary for a plastic surgeon. As I'm sure you know, if you spent all your life living in KL, you would not know any different. So I was living in London or in England, and it's a certain way. It's a cool place, but I was at that point where I just thought I need a change. And so I decided, okay, I'm gonna go traveling. Where can I go? Explore myself and try and find that elusive something that felt like it was missing from where you're sitting at a desk working all day.
Right. So at the point when you went back to England, what's in your mind? And to like knowing that you're going to start a new life from scratch, what's in your mind? Were you scared? Were you nervous?
I think a lot of it was down to necessity. It wasn't the plan. Like when I left England, I'd left my apartment with somebody. A friend of mine was looking after it, and it was all cool, and everything was fine. But somehow in there was, an eviction, and I was like, okay, shit. So it meant that when I came back, all my stuff was in storage, and I didn't have a job. I actually had like £30 left in my bank account when I came back to England. And literally it was like, okay, this is interesting. Luckily I have my big brother here who's been a massive, massive help for me, total inspiration. He let me stay at his house with him and his partner and his little girl. And I was basically sharing a bed with a 3-year-old who was still potty training. So that was fun. And that was kind of hard. And from having had my own space and my own place, and I'm somebody who loves having people over to hang out and socialize. I love baking and say, come over. I'm the person who's always like feeding people, like eat. So it was an experience to not have that, and it was hard because when I got back as well, literally. So I got back. I think I remember this. The 5th of September, I landed in England, and I think my dad died like 2 weeks later or something. I'm not even sure of the date. That's how it was. One of those like, excuse me, you just don't expect it. And I think that was hard for me because I couldn't travel to Africa to go to his funeral. Like he was a little bit unwell, but I'd been unwell on and off for a while anyway. And so for me, it was like, well, I'm sure he'll be fine again. It's just in and out. But yeah, this time obviously he didn't make it. So that was not easy either. So I think part of it for me was that we haven't reconciled, we haven't made up, and I haven't had an opportunity to mend this bridge, put a bridge there to mend this rift that we had. So that was really hard to talk about stuff that when you start talking, that it's going to open a floodgate and it just hurts right in the throat and then it hurts here in the heart, and it's like, how do you start to say this is what I'm feeling? It was really hard.
Right. Is that the reason that you went to India after that?
It was, yeah. I think one of the things was it's really important as a teacher to continuously be a student yourself, and because you're obviously inspiring and influencing other people. I think that was really important, and so going to India for me was about learning more, growing, but also I think I just wanted to get away. It was as simple as that. I wanted to get away. But I think it was probably one of the best things I've ever done.
All
It
right.
was 500 hours, they call it, which is basically, it was 10 hours a day, 6 days a week for 10 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
constantly. Just studying, yoga practice, meditation, yoga nidra,
Mm-hmm.
so, uh, and then having to study and doing workshops as well. So we're just learning some changes in how your body reacts, what's going on in your mind, and you think, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's changing, because the same posture, same
Right.
sequence, and it changes every time. And I'd never actually done Ashtanga before, so for me that was a first. But I feel like it was really, I don't know, quite intense. Getting
Right.
up at quarter to 5 every morning and
Mm-hmm.
doing your kriyas. I don't know if you know what kriya means. It means to cleanse. So you
Yeah.
would basically have to uh, have a shower, brush your teeth, but then you pour. There's a thing called a neti pot. It looks like a little mini teapot, and you put salt water in. You pour it through your nose, one side, the other side, and you got a little tube. You put it into your nose. You pull it out of your mouth, so you're clearing everything. And then so we did. That was all like the sort of practical side of things, but the
Right.
unexpected for me was with
Right.
my it really helped me to how can I say, to grieve my father's passing, because
Mm-hmm.
we did a lot of different types of meditation on the course, and
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, I guess, forgive, because there's lots of stuff that happened when I was growing up that
Right.
just, I'm not saying he was a horrible person, he's just who he was. And I also
Mm-hmm.
think that we are a result of our upbringing, and then our parents' upbringing, our parents' upbringing. You kind of become this person based on what they've experienced. And so for me, uh, there's certain things he did which I just think were so wrong, and what he did to my mom, and there's a whole host of stuff. And I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, because there's no point in that. But
Yeah.
I had to find a place to forgive him, because one, I was annoyed that he died before I had the opportunity to make up with him, and
Right.
like, and then on top of that, it was the thing of forgiving him whatever he did in relation to my life, because
Mm-hmm.
it was like, okay, if you don't forgive somebody, it's like you taking the poison and expecting somebody else to
Mm-hmm.
die, and that's just not going to work. But I had to sort of let go of the anger that I had, and the feeling of like, well, why didn't you do this, and you should have done that, and this happened and that happened. And then it's like, well, I guess the other side of the coin is, if my life hadn't gone as it has done up to this point, I
Mm-hmm.
would be a different person. And I'm still a work in progress. This I know. So I'm cool with
Yeah.
that. But it's definitely taught me that, you can find a place where you feel okay and everything feels fine. And, that empty feeling inside isn't
Mm-hmm.
really empty. There's always something. You're there. That's you there. And, a
Yeah.
lot of the time you go through life thinking that something's missing. But we are the complete package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess forgiveness comes with love and
Yeah.
acceptance, just being okay, like, just send love to another person, and then whatever thing it is there that is blocking us. Because I always
Mhm.
believe that when there's love, there's no war.
Yeah. No, I
Yes.
totally agree with you. And I think that the opposite of love is fear, you
Mm,
know. And if you're coming from from a place of fear, things don't work out. But if you come from a place of love, I think things work. It's like I give you a prime example. Like
mm-hmm.
when I was on course, we did 3 day. I personally chose to do it 3 days of silence, because
All
it
right.
felt like something that I needed to do. I was getting really frustrated, and I was getting really irritated. My roommate was driving me nuts, and I was like, and I just felt so angry, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And I remember going
Right.
to my practice. Now, we normally start at 6, and we finish at, like, I would finish at 8, because you go on your breath and the speed of
Mm-hmm.
your breath. So I turned up at, like, I think it was 6:30, because I was just so tired and I felt really crappy. And my teacher was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, you're late." I'm like, yeah. It's like, well, you only do like short. So instead of doing like your full breath, you're meant to do 5 breaths. He says, no, you just do one. I was like, I don't just want to do one. I want to do all of them. What do you mean? But I was just I just felt so angry, and I started doing the practice, and I was doing this practice of,
Yeah.
I remember the point where you put your hands on your hips and you kick one leg out in front of you. And so when you're kicking that leg out, your hip flexor from the diaphragm down into the hip, you have to hold that leg there. Really not that easy. And I remember one teacher coming out and saying, "Hiya, hiya, Caroline, hiya." I remember going, "Ah!" Literally, I was so angry. So the F word was there. I was like, oh my God, this is not good. And we're just stopping for a minute and going, right, breathe. And I just had tears start coming down. I started feeling really teary. And then I grabbed my stuff and I went out of the room and I just sat down outside because I was just like, I can't deal with this. I don't even know what it is. And then my teacher came and said, "Caroline, are you okay?" And I was just like, I don't know. I just feel, I was just like, okay, go for a walk. Come back tomorrow. I'll come back later or whatever. So I went off for a walk and I just walked. Didn't do anything. You know, it was like, meh. And then I decided on that walk that I was going to do my 3 days of silence. And it's so funny. I haven't actually told anyone this story until now. And it's just like, I feel like I'm right back there. Oh my God, that was really intense. And so the thing that came up for me was that I was able to observe everyone and experience everything, but without putting stories on anything and putting meanings on anything. It was just observing. And, you know, when I've been talking about the sort of fear and the love factor, I found that I had so much more compassion towards my classmates. And I was able to see, I completely saw them in a whole new light, like not the same people at all. I was just observing them and seeing, and it was far easier to see where they were coming from, what challenges they had without me talking all the time. It was a really great experience of like, okay, this is compassion, this is love, this is no expectation of anything, me not putting my judgment on anything, me not observing, me not saying, oh, that's really cool, or oh, you're amazing. It's just watching, and the only way I could express how I felt was through eyes. So it was a very different thing, and it was really, really lovely. And even during the 3 days of silence, I had a thing where 3 kids decided they were going to throw some water bombs at me. I remember screaming at them, idiots, right down the road. And I was like, so angry. I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this. And the funny thing was that I couldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell anyone, you know. It was like, oh, this happened. I couldn't tell anybody. And so because I couldn't tell anyone, it never became a thing. And it was just like, oh, okay.
It just dissolved. Yeah, it just dropped. Like, just like that, dropped. Yeah.
There's no anger towards that experience. It's just, it's gone.
I do agree that silence is so important because I shared with you, I just came back from silent meditation. It's like in that silence, there's so much more in that. Like we can see things much more clearly. We can find love, like we can feel love more clearly as well. How does this experience in India affect your teaching after that, after you go back to London?
I would say that it makes
even your life, not just teaching, like
everything.
Back to you.
You know what?
Yeah.
I guess it's made me aware of myself. I guess the other thing to remember is that we're not that important, really.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we are and we're not. So it's like a big old contradiction. I think on one side, we're not that important. So we really have to be humble. But on the other side, we have to remember that, you know, this world would be a very different place without each of us in it, you know. And I was recently been saying to my students that imagine all those smiles that you've shared with other people. Imagine all the love you've shared with others. And imagine all the smiles you've allowed others to share with you and all the love you've allowed others to share with you. It's something that, you know, you have to remember that somewhere along the way, you do inspire some people. You do influence some people somewhere. So you have to remember that. But at the same time, remember that, you know, we aren't that important. We just, you know, we're a little speck. We're here. For me, it's taught me a lot about humility, that but it helped me to be a lot more professional in terms of my teaching and what I have to offer, and helped me to realize that, I do have a lot to offer. What I do is important, and it's not about the money or anything like that. It's about helping people to help themselves, helping people to realize that they are more powerful than they think they are, because when you're growing up, when you're born, we're these, perfect little beings. We do whatever we want to do. We sleep, eat, poop, but we're not afraid to do anything. Little kids, they just walk up to you like, they chat away to you. They don't care. They don't mind. But
innocence.
Exactly, the innocence. And somewhere along, as adults, our responsibility is to nurture that love and nurture that innocence that they have, that self-love they have for themselves. But unfortunately, there are a few of us humans out there who are far too greedy, who just don't realize the responsibility that we have for these little beings. I don't have kids yet, but I hope when I do that I remember this this thought of my own. But I do feel that we are told no so much. We're told no, you can't do that. Don't do that. No, you're not. Don't do. No. And all of that manifests in our body as stiffness and fear. Like when I try and get people to a headstand, they're, I can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. You really can. And I say, it's not about the headstand. It's about what's going on in your head.
Right.
After, during, and that feeling of, oh yes, I'm capable, and yes, I can do stuff. And even for me, it's a struggle where I'm trying to learn that yes, I can, I am capable. And there's certain things that I've done when I look back and think, how the hell did I do that? I did that. Oh my god, that's amazing, And then other times I'm sitting there going, I don't know what to do. I'm really confused. And I guess the thing that yoga has done, or my course, is that life happens, stuff happens.
Right.
It's how you deal with it that yoga teaches you,
Right.
a way to deal with it. Whether you get up, you're going to be mad, you're going to be angry, you're going to go out and like bust someone up, or actually you're going to just say, you know what, let it go. And it's not saying, okay, turn the other cheek. It's not about that, because also self-respect means if someone is disrespecting you, you tell them, no, I don't like the way you're treating me. Because I would say we teach people how to treat us. And if something doesn't feel right, then you say so. I think that's really important.
It's being authentic as well, being who we are,
Exactly.
our real self.
Yeah. And as long as you do that, you'll know that feels right or that feels wrong, or if someone's getting beaten up and you feel like, actually, I want to go in and protect them, yes, I'll do that. Or if it's as simple as, don't like Marmites, it's okay.
Right.
Marmites.
So from your experience teaching, what do you see is the most common block or fear in your students? Like what's stopping them from being themselves in the adults world?
That's an interesting one. I would say I would go back to fear. Fear is what's stopping most people. But the question is, what are they afraid of? Everyone has different things that make them scared. And for some people, it's not being able to pay your bills. For some people, it's fear of like, what will my parents say? What will my friends say if I do this? And, I'm trying to think of some examples of scenarios where I've had one student say to me, oh, Caroline, you know what? I'm so grateful that you've kind of, helped me to sort of look at myself, something I was always scared of this, that, and the other. And I was always like tired at work and I never wanted to say no. And I always used to just like do all the hours and be, and I said, you have to look after yourself. Like, it's all well and good you trying to really please your bosses. But at the end of the day, if you get sick, you're so tired you can't do your job, all they have to do is replace you. You're interchangeable. Pull one out, put one in, like Lego. So it's about saying, no, I can be the best little Lego that I can be, but for myself as well. So do your work, because they don't own your life. Yes, it's your job, but they do not own your life. So you have to put your foot down at some point. You have to take care of yourself at some point. But then there's also the other fear of, sometimes people don't realize they're even scared. You know, I've got students who are afraid of doing headstands or just being upside down, or, you know, doing stuff on their arms, and that feeling of, like, when it comes to the arms, I would say, look, these are your hands. Whatever you are full of, you know, you've got so much power in these hands. And if you're, for example, afraid to kind of put your body weight onto your hands, you're afraid to hold yourself up, but yes, you can. You are strong enough to hold yourself up. And I have a lot of people who just don't like that feeling of being upside down because it's changing things, and, you know, people
Right.
get comfortable, they get complacent, and they're like, oh, well, this is what I know. So, you know, so I'm sort of like, for you, for example, when you were like saying, oh man, you know, I've got my business, I'm doing this and the other, but I'm not happy. And then it's like, okay. And then probably part of the fear for you was the fact that if I get rid of my business, what am I going to do then? Where, you know,
Yeah.
what should I do now? Because you have that familiarity of something, and then all of a sudden it's not there, and you think, oh, but for you, that was like you doing a headstand or a handstand, because you're completely turning your forward upside down,
Yeah.
and there's nothing there, and you're like, what do I do? Oh my God. But sometimes that's when you need to shake up the things that are like the most scary thing to do. Maybe will be one of the most best experiences in your life. And, you know, for you can actually go back and say, yes, at the time, that was my low. I didn't enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. But now you can go out there and inspire people and say, yes, you know what? You can hit rock bottom, but damn it, you can get right back out, man. And there's nowhere else to go. When you hit rock bottom, where else can you go but up?
Yeah, correct. That's the beauty of rock bottom. Yeah, so but how do we let people see that, say through yoga and meditation, what's the process that go through in the students in order for them to change the perception, to flip over fear?
I think a lot of people have different ways of getting into it. Some people come to yoga because they've had an injury, and so they're like, oh, I need to like get over this, and this hurts or that hurts. You know, I remember some classes I've been to, I'm like, okay, hi guys, how's everyone doing? How's everything? Oh, I've got a short shoulder. Oh, my hip's sore. Oh, and I'm like, half the class is just full of injuries. What am I supposed to do with that? You know, and I've even had a girl come in who's like got one leg and she's got a prosthetic limb, and I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. But there are always ways of getting around it. And the way I've done it and I've learned to do is that instead of trying to teach a specific routine, because that just doesn't work for me, I've tried it, and early on I realized the key is actually to teach the student. So I don't teach yoga. I teach yoga, but I don't teach yoga, because what I do is I teach the student. Whoever is in front of me on that
That's a
particular day.
beautiful way to put it. You teach the student.
Exactly. And every student needs something different. You know, I've got, you know, I will ask at the beginning of class, what are your energy levels? Out of 10, whereabouts are you at? Okay, I'm saying, like, do you want more energy then? Yeah, yeah. Or are you just feeling like, actually, I want to be a bit more chilled today? Or, you know, it depends on what they need. So the sequence starts forming around them, and I don't always know what it's going to be. And it's like, there are certain things that I always do. You know, everyone knows what sun salutation is. Everyone knows what a downward dog is, and, you know, a twist there, a twist there. So there's always going to be a balance, a twist, forward, fold, back, bend of some sort. But it's how it comes together, what they need. That's the key. So it's like, okay, wait, they need more hippie stuff today, so working the hips, or actually the back. Or someone said to me, oh, I've got a really sore neck back here. So I'm like, okay, great. We're going to do this twist, and we're going to do that. I just realized I've got 15% battery left on my phone. And I may have to plug it in, so I'll just finish this. And so in terms of the meditation as well, some people are a lot more receptive to meditation than others. So it's like, well, maybe we'll chant Om, and it will be like, okay, we just want to neutralize everything and kind of bring you back to zero. Because I would say Om is the universal sound of life. And when you chant it, you feel these vibrations all the way through your body. You've experienced that. And so it will literally be different. I have never taught two classes the same. Every single class turns up different, and sometimes stuff happens. You're like, wow, I did not expect that. So, really, I tailor it around the students. It might be we'll start with some meditation, or we'll start with some pranayama, some breathing control, or it might be we'll go straight into the postures, and then we'll weave it around. Maybe I'll drop pranayama into the middle of a card somewhere. And the key thing is people to feel good when they leave. That's what I say. I want smiles, and I know I've done a good job when I finish and I say blah blah blah, and I'll say whatever I say, and I'll say namaste, and that's it, and I'll just see what happens. And some people just don't move. They're just like completely like zoned out, tongued out. They're like, wow, I just feel like, and I thought, great, and they've had a good practice. And it's not about me; it's about how deep they've gone. Because you only get out of your yoga practice what you put in. Because it doesn't affect me. I say to them, look, I don't care if you do any of the postures or not do none. It doesn't bother me. It's not down to me. Everything that you do will benefit you. It will benefit you, and maybe all those people around you close by, because you'll be in a much better mood. You'll be happier, lighter, stronger, fitter. A cool person, and that I think for me is the key thing. It's really important. So yeah.
All right. How about yourself? Like, how do you yourself deal with fear?
How do I deal with fear? Procrastination, a little bit, and then and I go off and speak to people like, I don't know what I'm doing, and generally it just takes me talking about it with somebody that I trust to be able to then okay, look, you can do this, this, and this, and then it's like, okay, because again, we always want approval, and I think that's something that I've learned of myself. I need approval, or asking for permission, but actually I don't need permission, I don't need approval, but I think what I need is to be able to talk things through. Once I've talked it out, generally I know the answer. I'm like, oh, okay, great, I know what I need to do.
Right.
But yeah, there's things I've done where I've just been scared, and you kind of just have to do it anyway and be like, okay. But I've learned to be calmer myself. I've learned to not freak out as much as I would have done in the past, and I don't feel like I have a feeling of when your heart rate, sometimes your heart goes and it kicks up, and you're like, but then I stay, my face is calm, and I'm still okay, and it's like, well, you just keep going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you have any routine or habits to always remind yourself about self-love?
I've got on my mirror, I'm looking at it now, it's just a little thing that says, I love myself unconditionally. God loves me as I am. I'm perfect with all my thoughts. And then it's a list of things where I just say, I am happy, I'm whole, I am joyful, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole list of them. And then also I have some books from Louise, like little cards from Louise L. Hay. And it's just like little cue cards. I pull one out every day and read it. That. But generally it's just trying to remind myself and being mindful of my thoughts. If something's starting to go veer down the road of negativity, then I have to be like, no, bring myself back, because it's like the only way to fill up negative thoughts is by thinking positive thoughts, or really overshadowing them. Like you said with your meditation, the silence, you became bigger than your fear, and that's what you have to do. Change that up. And I also I'm really a big believer in like the Louise Esther Hicks, and a bit sort of kooky, but I really believe in that. Our feelings, the way you feel, kind of dictates what happens.
I'm a big fan of Esther Hicks as well. Abraham. I used to listen to her video every morning.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, isn't it? And the thing of the 17.
It's such a good reminder.
Completely. So with the 17-second rule, it's like, okay, you have 17 seconds for a thought to form. So if you're starting to think negative thoughts, stop yourself and just think positive for 17 seconds.
Right.
And then it kind of overshadows anything else that you were trying to think, because otherwise you can end up going down the road of, oh, woe is me, my life is horrible, everything's hard, and this is bad. No, stop, breathe. And you can tell when you're not thinking good thoughts, because you start feeling it in your body as well. Your breath changes.
Correct. Correct. The physiology.
Yeah, it affects you. How we feel. Like recently, somebody posted a video on my Facebook that was about they did some scientific evidence, which was around the thoughts and how they help you to heal. And it was quite interesting. Like a lot of doctors, done their research, and patients that were really in a good mood and happy and positive, that generally tended to recover much quicker from their from their whatever illness it was. And obviously, some don't, because that's just how it happens. But generally, if you're positive and you're forward thinking, then you're going to have a good, better outcome than if you're focusing on the negative. You get what you look for, basically.
Yeah. Is there like one book that you would recommend to everybody that you know?
One book that I'd recommend, man, that's a tough one to narrow it down. There's a few that I feel like have been really pivotal in my life. The first one I ever read was The Celestine Prophecy, which I thought was great.
Celestine Prophecies.
Oh, I can say, we can put the links down below or whatever. But basically, it talks about there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything kind of leads you, and you kind of, what you need appears when you need it. Basically, that was the. And it's written in like a story of like adventure. He's off searching for something, but it was really interesting. That one was pivotal. It kind of started me on my sort of journey of spirituality. Also, what was the other one? Deepak Chopra's. What's the one? Something about the night. It was Deepak Chopra. It's going to drive me nuts. I can't remember what it is now. No, I don't remember. That was a really small book. I have to remember that one. But the other one as well, Conversations with God, was really just because it was kind of like a modern day Bible, and there's stuff in there that's really interesting. Because if you think, why is there so much bad things happening in this world, blah blah. And it was just, those I think have been quite big for me, but there have been others. But that one, I think, Celestine Prophecy, Conversations with God, and I can't remember the one by Deepak Chopra as well.
What is it about?
It was about, it gives you it's like steps of things that you can do to kind of just self-growth, and different exercises. And part of it was also just learning about forgiveness of yourself.
I see.
I was younger. So the way I found that book is a lady I met on a train. I was traveling to somewhere, I don't know where, and we started chatting on the phone, on the train. And she suggested this book, and I was like, oh. And then I got the book and I read it. And so, again, it wasn't a coincidence that I met her on that particular day. She was sat in that particular seat, me on the train, and I was on that train at that particular time. And that was the book she recommended.
Right, I had similar experience when I was in Vietnam in a noodle shop having noodle. I came across someone who recommended me the book called The Alchemist.
Oh, I've read that one as well.
And it was exactly the book I need to read at that time, and that person in that noodle shop brought it to me. It was amazing. Like you just can't explain it. And that event really makes me believe that it's like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right, then we'll come to our last questions.
Okay.
All right, let's say today will be the last day of your life on this earth. You're going to another planet tomorrow.
Much for the last day of my life.
Let's say today is the last day. What are the 3 truths that you will leave behind to everyone in this world?
I don't know, I guess it would be live life, love, and live well. Live life, love life, and live well. Yeah. That's, I don't know, does that count as 1 or 2 or 3? I'm going to go with 1. So what I normally say at the end of my classes to my students is, be kind to yourself. It's far easier to be kind to others when you're kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So be kind to yourself. It's far easier to be kind to others if you're kind to yourself. Because then you're not operating from a place of lack, because you have plenty.
Yeah, abundance.
And then I say, smile often, because smiling makes everything feel okay. And also it sends lovely hormones to your body to tell you to feel good physically as well. And then I say hydrate, because it will no doubt look after you.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's the key
Alright,
thing.
very practical. The last one, very practical.
I'm
Yeah.
practical.
Yeah, I guess like to wrap it all up is live life, love life, and live well.
Yes, exactly.
All right, cool. And so, what's next for you?
What's next? I really want to do some like
Mm-hmm.
teacher training, like teaching
Mm-hmm.
other teachers, because I still come across
Right.
some things that I feel like actually,
Mm-hmm.
I've got some stuff I can share with them. I want to do some more traveling, and I'd love to go and
Mm-hmm.
travel and teach internationally as well. So I need to like
Right.
approach different studios and stuff and actually
Mm-hmm.
approach them. So if you know any good yoga studios, AL, I'll come over
Right.
and like teach for a week or something. It'd be really good fun.
Mhm.
Um, and aside from that, I guess planning my 40th birthday party, because yeah,
Oh,
you're only 40 once, right? And that's
right.
yeah, those I think are the key things, and
All right.
it's just to keep remembering to smile and
Celebrate life.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right. All right. I think that's the end of our podcast. Thank you so much. I feel so blessed to talk to you after 3 years.
It's been a
And
long time, but
yeah,
thank you so much for having me, and it's actually been really lovely because it's given me the opportunity to review what's happened in the last 3 years and actually
right.
realize I'm not doing as bad as I thought I was. So
I know,
yeah,
right? It's so easy. Like sometimes it's easy to beat ourselves up in this moment where we think like it's it's not as good as we think it should be. But when we look back at the past 3 years, like we have come through a long, long way to be where we are today.
exactly.
And we should love ourselves for that and be thankful for what we have. All
Thank you so much.
right. No
Have
problem. I wish you the best in all your future adventures and have a good day today.
a good day. Namaste.